Hey there, today we're going to be using some trash to create a really fun Valentine's Day gnome. So I'm going to be using this plastic container that had some ornaments in it, this sock left over from a project, rocks from outside, and some twine that I pulled off an old project. I'm going to start by putting some rocks in this plastic container just to provide some weight so it doesn't topple over. And I'm going to slip the container inside this sock. You can use some rice or some gravel or whatever to fill up the container, but I chose to use the rocks as I'm trying to keep this a trash to treasure. So I'm just going to tie off the top using the twine, and then I'm going to be trimming around the top to remove the excess. Then glue the rest to the edge of the jar. I want to welcome you all to CreArtive by Nature DIY and Decor. My name is Donna. If you're new, I'd love for you to tap on the subscribe button along with the bell to keep up to date with everything I have to share. So I had this piece of cardstock in my stash. It's just some leftover packaging, and I am going to cut off a piece to form a rectangle, and now I'm going to roll it to form it into a cone. Once I have a cone shape that'll fit over the top of my jar, I am going to be stapling and adding some glue. That'll help hold the cone's shape. So you're going to want to trim off any of the excess cardboard and even out the bottom, and then just double check to make sure that it's going to fit over the jar. And then you can add some more staples just to help secure the cone shape. So this fabric here is part of a leg from some old pajama bottoms, and I am just going to trim it off, removing all the seams, and this is what I will be using to cover up the cone. So I'm just measuring here to make sure that I do have enough fabric to cover the cone. And then using some hot glue, I am going to run a bead along the cone and then press that into the fabric. I am going to continue along until I have my cone covered. Trim off any excess fabric. So I'm just going to trim off the bottom, and I'm going to make sure that there is approximately an inch overhang on the bottom of the cone. And then I'm going to be folding in that portion, and I'm using some hot glue and attaching it to the inside of the cone. Today's video is part of the Using Trash to Create Treasure Challenge hosted by Casey from Coffee with My Sunshine, and her co-host today is Jamie from SimpleRoots SimpleLiving. Go check out their channels. They're very talented. Both links will be down in my description along with the challenge playlist. So now I am using some textured yarn that I had picked up from the thrift store. And I'm going to be creating a beard by forming some large loops around my fingers. Now you could use some faux fur if that's what you have in your stash. I just wanted to, again, keep in theme of creating my gnome as a trash to treasure. So I am using some upcycled items and just some trash or recyclables and just things from my stash. So once you've got the loops formed, you're going to just tie it off with an extra piece of string, and then you're going to cut through the loops and trim as needed. So here I'm just measuring to make sure that I have the right beard for this gnome and that my hat will fit over top. And then I am going to glue the beard into place as shown. Continue to trim your beard as you need to form the shape that you like. So now I'm going to be cutting the other piece of fabric in half. And again, I'm just going to be removing that bottom hemline. And then I'm going to roll this up as I want to give this little gnome some arms. So I'm just going to roll it and then run a bead of hot glue just to seal that all up. And I will be making 2 arms, of course. Here I'm just making sure they are the same thickness, and then you can also cut them down so that they are the same length as well. So once you have your arms formed, I like to cut the top off on an angle and then glue it onto the top. I just find that then it's not too bulky underneath the hat. So here I'm applying some glue and then adding the arm to the rim, and I do the same for the other side. Once the glue sets, you can then take your hat and measure to make sure that enough of the bulk is removed. And then you can actually glue your hat into place at this point if you desire. So I had all these little pieces that I picked up from the thrift store, just in some little grab bags. Here I have a pom-pom, and then I've got some pretty little wood beads that are pink, and they do have a hole. So I am just inserting the wood beads into the sleeves, and I'm going to hide those holes by pulling the sleeve over the edge. And these will be the hands for the gnome. So I'm going to paint the front of this little hug wood sign. Again, this is from the thrift store, and I'm just doing the front. I don't want to do the whole wood piece just so that it ties the nose in. The natural wood color will complement the nose nicely, but this is completely by choice. Feel free to decorate your gnome any way you'd like. So once the paint is dry, you can then glue the hands onto either side of your embellishment. And I am just going to be using some hot glue for this. So I'm just going to now use this scrap felt, and I'm going to be cutting out a heart shape, and using some hot glue, I am going to attach this cute little heart to the hat. I think this little gnome turned out so cute, and I was so happy that I was able to create it out of some trash and some thrifted finds. Everything here was definitely a trash to treasure. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. For more gnome tutorials, I will have a playlist at the end of this video as well in my description box below. I want to say a big thank you to Casey and Jamie and my fellow creators, and I want to thank all of you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!